Just before we get into today's video, I'm delighted to announce that I have created my own news website called the TJR Report, providing all of the latest news in regards to the EPL and the EFL. The TJR Report is completely run by myself, and I'll be updating the website every single day with fresh new articles. I'll leave a link to the website in the description, and I'd appreciate it massively if you guys could check it out. Well, it's all kicking off in the championship now, isn't it? Certainly people, how are you doing, and welcome to a new video. Now, this was a video I wasn't planning on making, but following the latest developments in the championship, I now find myself in this position making this sort of video, and all of you probably will be made aware of what has happened. Sheffield Wednesday have been given a 12-point deduction for breaching the EFL profitability and sustainability rules, and they will receive a 12-point deduction at the end of the 2020-21 season, or next season. It's safe to say this decision has upset Charlton Athletic, as if you've seen the latest news, the club is considering a legal challenge against this verdict, and I'm going to be giving my thoughts on it. To be honest, it's something I saw coming, and yeah. So let me give you a little bit of context as to what's happened. So basically what's happened is Sheffield Wednesday, back in July 2018, sold their stadium, Hillsborough, to cover losses. Now, as much as I thought that it was against the rules, turns out it's not. You are allowed to do that. However, what they're being charged with is the fact that they put the profits from the sale of the stadium into bank statements after a 3-year period. So the 3-year period that they were, I think, set to do this was 2015-16, 2016-17 and 2017-18, and they did this after the end of the 2017-18 season. Therefore, they were accused with breaching the EFL profitability and sustainability rules, and the EFL actually released a statement on the matter, and I'll briefly summarise one of the things they said. So they said, the club was charged in November 2019 and referred to an independent disciplinary commission which conducted a full hearing at the end of June 2020 for finding the club guilty based on the fact that the club should not have included profits from the sale of Hillsborough Stadium in the club's financial statements for the period ending July 2018. So they were allowed to sell their stadium, but what they weren't allowed to do was include it in their bank statements after this 3-season period ending in 2018. They weren't allowed to do that, and that's exactly what they did. This case was taken to an independent commission. The EFL weren't dealing with this. This was a different commission, just a separate commission that dealt with this. Now, the one thing I disagree with this entire thing is that they did this in 2018, July 2018. They were charged with breaching financial fair play. That's essentially what it is. They've been charged with breaching FFP in November 2019, 16 months after the offence was committed by Sheffield Wednesday. And then, 8 or 9 months later, their sanction is given in 2020. But the sanction will not happen until 2021. I just don't understand it. I know that the EFL did not deal with this case. I know it was an independent commission. But how can this commission take 16 months to even charge them with this offence, then a further 8 or 9 months to find them guilty and penalise them? And even then, this penalty, this deduction, will be happening 3 years after they initially committed the offence. And that's what I don't understand. How does it take that long to come up with that, yet Wigan are immediately given a points deduction for going into administration? And I know that is EFL regulation. I know that if a club immediately goes into administration, that happens. I know that happens. But in my view, that shouldn't happen. In my view, clubs should not be given a 12-point deduction after going into administration. The fact is, Wednesday have committed a much worse and serious offence compared to Wigan. Like, Wigan went into administration. That's out of the club. That's out of Wigan's control. That's all down to the owners. If you think about it, it's actually the EFL's fault that Wigan went into administration, because the people that came in and put them in that position should never have come into English football in the first place. As for Sheffield Wednesday, they've clearly breached profitability and sustainability rule. They've breached that 3 years ago. They're charged with it last year. They're penalised in June, but the sanction's not happening until 2021. I don't get it. I don't understand. Sheffield Wednesday did release a statement following the EFL's decision, and it read as follows. Sheffield Wednesday acknowledges the decision of the Independent Disciplinary Commission announced today. The club is extremely disappointed that the Commission has imposed a 12-point deduction to be applied next season and awaits the written reasons for this decision. The club welcomes the decision that the Commission cleared Sheffield Wednesday of the charge of acting in bad faith in its dealings with the EFL. Further, the Commission decided not to apply a 12-point deduction this season, thereby imposing relegation. The club will await the written reasons into the sanction, and upon receipt will digest and consider the full details with its legal advisors before making any further comment. Essentially, what Sheffield Wednesday are saying is that they're waiting for the reason as to why this deduction was sanctioned to them. And I mean, as I read from the EFL statement a few minutes ago, the reason is pretty clear. They've been charged for breaching the profitability and sustainability rules. That's why they've been given the deduction. But I just still don't understand why it's not been done this season. I don't get it. And there was a point that someone raised on Twitter, because I tweeted about this as well. Someone did raise a point to me as well, and to be fair to that person, it was a fair point. And what they said was, obviously, with the whole coronavirus situation, the season was stopped, and Wigan's administration happened at the start of July, and this of course was midway through the restart. Had the season had been completed in normal fashion, so had it finished on the 3rd of May, which is when it was scheduled to do so, Wigan would have gone into administration 2 months after the season ended. So then the deduction would have been imposed for next season, the 2020-21 season. Now that is a fair point. And what I don't understand about this entire situation is, technically, the championship season hasn't finished yet, because at the time of recording this video, tomorrow is the championship playoff final between Brentford and Fulham. That's a championship. That counts as a championship season, doesn't it? So technically, the season hasn't finished yet. So that gives us even more of a reason as to why the deduction has not happened this season as opposed to the next. I don't get it. Championship season's not finished yet, because playoffs counts as the season, does it not? And it seems that Charlton Athletic, the team that I support and the team that this will affect the most, because obviously if the deduction was to be imposed this season, Wednesday would finish bottom of the championship on 44 points, and Charlton's position in the championship would be reinstated for 2020-21. And this situation has now created even more uncertainty than what it already needed to be, because Charlton are now considering a legal challenge against this verdict. And Charlton released the following statement on the matter. It was rather short, as all of the Charlton statements seem to be nowadays. But yeah, cheers ESI for that. But anyway, the club said the following. The club is considering a legal challenge following the news that Sheffield Wednesday will receive a sporting sanction that will take effect in the 2020-21 season. Sheffield Wednesday were charged in November 2019 for breaching the EFL's profitability and sustainability rules for the 3-season reporting period ending with season 2017-18. We fail to understand why the deduction will take place next season rather than the current season, which seems to be irrational, and are writing to the EFL to get an explanation on the justification. The club will keep fans updated on any further action. So there you have it. The club are considering a legal challenge based on the fact that obviously Charlton the club feels that this deduction should take place this season as opposed to the next. Obviously, my view is the same as the club. I do think it should happen this season as opposed to the next. But what I will say is, I'm not expecting us to win the appeal, because let's face it, do any Charlton fans have any sort of faith or hope that Chris Farnell will take this to court and get this overturned? Do we really have any sort of faith? Because me personally, as a Charlton fan, as much as I think Wednesday should get their deduction this season as opposed to the next, Charlton ain't winning this appeal. Let's be real. We're not winning this appeal. I don't even understand why we're even trying to fight against it. As I say, I don't agree with it. I think it should have been sanctioned ages ago. Lost 4-0 to Leeds. I've been all but prepared since that day for Charlton to play League One football. I've said this so many times. We deserve to go down. We weren't good enough. We've gone down, but now there's even more uncertainty because the club is now considering a legal challenge that ultimately we're not going to win. I'm not counting on us to win the appeal. I don't think we will win the appeal. And quite frankly, Sheffield Wednesday, as much as they have broken the rules, don't deserve relegation this season. Next season, obviously, they will begin the 2020-21 season on minus 12 points, effectively relegating them. Unless they have like an absolutely unbelievable season, which at this present moment doesn't look likely. It does essentially hit the nail in the coffin for Wednesday to play League One football for 2021-22. But for 2019-20 season, the season just gone, do they deserve to go down based off the way they played this season? No, they don't. They finished 16th, well clear of relegation. As a matter of fact, 8 points clear of the team who finished in 22nd, which was Charlton. So naturally, obviously, Charlton would be upset by this decision. And as much as I disagree with it, as much as I disagree with Wednesday receiving the deduction next season as opposed to this, Charlton ain't winning this appeal. Simple as. We're not winning the appeal. We're not going to. Simple as. We deserve to be in League One, but now there's even more uncertainty, where we now have to wait even longer to see if this appeal even is to happen for a start, and to see if we're going to win it or not. If we win it, it won't be the same feeling. I won't have the same satisfaction. Yes, we're in the Championship. Happy days, we're in a higher league. The fact is, though, do we deserve to be in this league? No, we don't. As I said, took it on the chin, preparing us to play League One football. But it just adds even more uncertainty to this club. Not only do we now know what league we're going to be in, because we still could be in the Championship if by some stroke of miracle Nobby Farnell wins this legal challenge and the decision is overturned to next season. We also don't even know if we're going to be playing football next season, because ESI still have not given the sufficient funds to the EFL, despite the fact Farnell telling us way back in April that they have given it. You haven't. We're now 40 days away from expulsion. Quite literally, if we don't give the sufficient funds to the EFL by the start of the new season, which is September 12th, we're essentially gone as a club. We're essentially dead. So it just creates even more unnecessary uncertainty. Like, just, in my opinion, sod the appeal off. As much as we can say I don't agree with it, I don't agree with Sheffield Wednesday's verdict, there's just no point in appealing against it, because quite frankly, we ain't going to win. We're not going to win the appeal. Of course we're not. So that is it for this video, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, can you possibly leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here, and turn on those post notifications so you're notified of when I post. What are your thoughts on this situation? Let me know in the comments below. Should Sheffield Wednesday be given their deduction this season as opposed to the next? What do you guys think about Charlton's appeal? Do you think we'll win that? Do you think we're going to lose it? Let me know in the comments below. We don't know what league we're going to be in now if this appeal is to go in, and we don't know if we're even going to be playing football because the sufficient funds still have not been given to the EFL, which is a joke. Our club's a laughing stock, our club is a circus, and this has now just made it even more uncertain than what it is. But anyway, that's it for today. New videos will be coming out regularly. Be sure to check out my new news website, TJR Report. I'll leave a link to that in the description. Please check that out. It'll be much appreciated. A lot of time and effort has gone into creating it and writing articles. New articles posted on there every single day, so I appreciate it massively if you guys would take a look at it. This has been Tyler Rollinson. Have a nice day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take it easy, guys. See you all later.